Question number 4, Sandra Goudie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister for the Environment, what response has there been to the government's announcements on contaminated sites, and in particular the planned clean-up of the most dangerous site at the Tui Mine on Mt Te Aroha?
Mr. Speaker, the announcement of the funding and plan has been welcomed by the District and Regional Council, by the community and by local iwi. I want to acknowledge the strong advocacy of that member in having the risk of this unstable tailings dam addressed, and also the work of the Green Party, of which our MOU includes the work to stabilise and make safe this particularly dangerous contaminated site.
Sandra Goudie.
To the Minister for the Environment, what lessons have been learnt from the last major contaminated site clean-up at Mapua that resulted in a very negative report from the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Environment and significant concern by local residents, so as to ensure the clean-up at Tui is properly managed?
Mr. Speaker, it is widely accepted that there were significant failings by the previous government in the Mapua clean-up, and I'm pleased to assure the member that we are taking a quite different approach. The Ministry is funding the project but not managing it on a day-to-day basis. The Ministry does not have the appropriate skills, nor is it realistic to project manage a complex job like this from Wellington. The technologies being employed have been successfully tried and tested, and we've also put effective monitoring in place. These projects are notoriously difficult, but I am satisfied we're applying world's best practice.
Question, I beg your pardon, Catherine Delahunty, supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tēnā koutou te whare. To the Minister, will the Minister consider further funding for bioremediation of toxic sites, given the successful model of clean-up being piloted at contaminated timber treatment sites in Whakatane?
Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, firstly I want to acknowledge the very constructive work of that member on the issue of contaminated sites and the progress that we've been able to make in respect of Tui. In respect of her specific question, yes, the Ministry does have a contestable fund for assisting sites like the one that she's raised in Whakatane, and it would be considered on merit relative to other applications. In terms of any specific technology, I would need to rely on expert advice as to whether it was the best way in which to ensure the sites that she refers to were made safe.
To Order of Level.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Kia ora tātou. To the Minister, was the PCP poisoning and E. coli in Rotorua's Puaringa stream included in the government's announcement on contaminated sites? And if not, what action will the Minister take to ensure that this issue is addressed?
The Honourable Dr. Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, the member has raised, as in my recent visit to Rotorua, the specific issues on that stream. That is more majorly an issue of water quality, and there is some technical questions as to where the source of contamination is coming from, whether it's the previous timber treatment site up the catchment, whether it's the previous sewage works, or whether there are other activities in that catchment is causing it. Until we get the technical advice from Environment Bay of Plenty as to the source of that contamination, we'll decide whether it's a contaminated site or whether it's a water clean-up issue that we have on our hands.
Question number 5, the Honourable